scripture this week is Luke 2, verse 19. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. And our sermon hymn is Angels. We have Angels from the Realms of Glory.
I told Barb, I think that's the shortest verse any of our liturgists have had to read, and that's not even, Jesus wept. That was, we could still do that one, but thank you, Barb, for being our liturgist. And just to give you a little context, we've heard those words probably many times. Mary treasured all these things and pondered them in her heart. And I've been doing a lot of pondering in the last few days and weeks as leading up to the new year, thinking, what do I want to do differently? How can I be a different person, a better person, more loving? What do I need to ponder in my heart? And so we know that Mary's uttered these words after Jesus had been born. The angels had spoken to her, and Joseph, the angels had spoken to the shepherds had come to worship the child, and then the shepherds left to tell everybody what they had seen and heard, and how they had, it's good news. And that's when it says, and Mary treasured all of these things and pondered them in her heart. First, I want to comment about the word ponder. She didn't just remember the details of the birth of her son and the circumstances of what happened. She wasn't just thinking, let's see, who came first? The angel, was it the shepherd? She wasn't trying to get the facts straight. For me, anyway, she was taking in all that had happened. Even, from being a teenager, being told, hey, you're pregnant and you're the son of God. Boy, that's something to ponder. But she was trying to take all of that in its totality and let it sink down deep in her heart, deep in her spirit. The place where I think change happens. I think that's where change happens for us. After we've taken things in and sat with it and let it sink deep into us. So, I put it out to you, and what are you pondering? What would you, if I asked you, as Mary did, what might you be pondering in your heart about this last year in 2022, from the Christmas season, and what might you have learned or are learning from pondering on this last year? What might you have learned that maybe the first time you went through it in this last year, it had one level of meaning, or it touched you in one way or affected you in one way, but now that you have time to think about it and time has gone by, maybe you learned more from it than you did the first time. What things might have sunk down into your heart and spirit and changed you and me somehow? So I'm going to give you a little guidance. I'm going to ask you to think for yourself. Consider this past year. How was your journey? How was your journey? So just think about that for a moment. I'll just say that it was the first 6 months of the year were a year of very painful arthritic knee, and the last 6 months of the year have been a lot of whininess and complaining, especially the first 3 months as I recovered, because I had no idea it would be that painful and difficult. I slept in a recliner for 4 months. I yelled at my doctor, actually, and my physical therapist, and said, "Why didn't you tell me it would be like this?" And they said, "Because then you wouldn't have done it." And then my physical therapist said, "Just think about it. The top, which is this bone, the femur, the top bone? The top of your femur, or the bottom of your femur was sliced off, and the top of your, what's the bone that comes up below the knee? That tibia, that was sliced off, and we folded your kneecap back, and we put in all this hardware. Of course it hurts. It's going to hurt for a while." And I would have done it, but I learned a lot from this last year. So let me put it back to you. Think about, in terms of opened doors and closed doors, if that helps you think about this past year. What kind of doors were opened for you that you didn't expect? What doors were maybe closed for you that you didn't expect? I think of Karen, the door that was open was the opportunity to be their lay pastor at Wesley, United Methodist Church. What a wonderful opportunity, and they are so grateful. I don't know that you expected that to happen until you were asked. What doors were slammed shut in your face? Think about those. And what do you learn from those, thinking about those doors that were open and closed and maybe slammed shut? What do you imagine in your mind what the door to this new year for you looks like? Does it have, like my door has stained glass in the top, and it's painted white, fairly new. It's a new door. But maybe some of you feel like your door to 2023 is falling apart, or needs major repairs, or is broken. Maybe you are worried that that door is going to be hard to open into the new year. Or maybe you're already finding it's locked and you don't have the key. What are you going to do? Maybe you need a new door. Maybe that's an opportunity to get a new door, a different door. And as you think about all of that, where is God in that for you? How can you draw upon your relationship with God as you think about the door of 2022 and what that left, and what left you with, and what you need to leave behind when you think of that door to 2022? What do you need to leave behind that you don't need to carry into 2023? Regrets, or anger, or lack of confidence in yourself? What do you need to leave behind that door, in that door to that room? And how do you envision the room to 2023? Can you imagine it being a room that's warm and inviting, and like a place you could be present with Jesus and pray and talk to God? Or is it a room that you're afraid is going to be filled with too many unknowns, and it's kind of scary to think about stepping into the new year and into that room? So what do you need to leave, and what do you need to drop from 2022? Because as you're preparing to go through that new door, or that door into 2023, it's going to be hard to open your hands and hold and grasp what God may have in store for you if your arms and your hands and your whole body is just covered with burdens and packages of stuff that you need to leave behind. How can you be ready to receive new things, and maybe hard things? I'm not saying it's all going to be sweet and nice, but how can you receive new gifts from God, new challenges from God, if your hands are full of old stuff that you're carrying around that you don't need to be carrying around anymore? Invite God. Talk to God. Talk to God this afternoon after you get home later, or a little bit every day this week, a little bit every day this month, a little bit every day this year. And ask God to show you what you need to lay down, what you need to leave behind, what you need to drop that's not helping you anymore. And then spend some time with God and ask God to show you, what do you need to be open to? What do you need to be ready to receive? How do you want to walk into this new year, which began almost 12 hours ago? Ask God to be with you, and as you think about, how is this journey going to go this year? And how are God and I going to be companions on this journey? So take some time on this first day of the new year about what you've left behind, what you need to leave behind, what's hard to leave behind, and what you might find behind this new door. maybe the risks that you need to take to embrace those new things behind that door. Talk to God about that. And let us thank God. We have a new year and a new chance to live our lives to the fullest, to be present and fully involved in the life that God has given us, even the life that feels difficult and challenging. So let us thank God for the year that has passed and for the year that is here. Amen.